Hello, very beautiful community. Life is complex, so we're going to speak in this way with each other, right? So, analysis. The Ukrainians have got sharing of intelligence back, and they have got, the cessation of arms support from the United States revoked in exchange for a 30-day ceasefire. Nietzsche would say, don't tear your hair out or don't over celebrate either little stops along a very long road, because you need to see where Ukraine and European security will end down the line. So these are events, the full meaning of which we can't frame today. But we can say this is, as things go, a minor but solid diplomatic win for Ukraine, and especially for Mr. Yermak. One question is, did Marco Rubio take advantage to some extent of Trump's distraction with annexing his neighbors to re-stabilize into a bit more seriousness the US position on Ukraine? There is a question of what Trump will say and keep saying about the ceasefire. Will he speak about it at a distance, allowing Putin more wiggle room, or will he consistently keep on endorsing it? And what will he do once the Russians try to muck about? And what can he do once the Russians try to muck about? And the answer is not much. He can certainly use stern words, and we simply have to wait and see what happens. So we're sort of turning now to an analysis of where the Russians stand. The most important thing to understand, two most important things to understand about the Russians, is that they want political but not territorial control over all of Ukraine. And they also want, and that's not an entirely sort of consistent desire, it pulls them in a different direction, a real renormalization of their relationship with the United States, to the point that Ukraine becomes just one topic among others in their relationship with Ukraine. Putin wants to focus on everything and anything else, from the Arctic to nuclear arms reduction to sanctions. The temptation is therefore to keep the Ukrainians out, keep the Europeans out, and see if this ceasefire can come for the Russians with a promise of a deepening of Russia's non-Ukraine related relationship with the United States. That's quite promising for Putin as a path, and he's happy to make sacrifices toward that. It's also worth bearing in mind that the Russians know that they can simply agree to the ceasefire but not agree to continue it after 30 days, or break it and blame Ukraine on it, and that they are free to, beyond these 30 days, bring all of their demands and requests to the table. One of the central ones, now that security guarantees are falling down the realistic pecking order, one of the Russian demands will be limits on military support for Ukraine and demilitarization. And one of the key things to look out for is to make sure that the Europeans don't agree to a restriction on military support for Ukraine as part of the deal, which is what Putin will want, and on a significant scale. So, while there is indecision on the Kremlin side about exactly how to make this next move, their goals are pretty clear. Renormalization of relations with the US while trying to keep the Europeans out of it, and moving toward a situation where the odds of political control over Ukraine, gaining political control over Ukraine, increase. So this depends in part on a Kremlin analysis of what will happen to Ukraine, not just during a ceasefire, but post a potential deal. How stable or unstable will Ukrainian domestic politics be in the view of the Kremlin, right? So Putin is judging that, and he doesn't know, he can't tell, because he's happy to make a deal if that'll bring Ukraine closer to ungovernability than carrying on the war. If carrying on the war will do that, uh, uh, better, than he'll want to carry on the war. If it's 50-50, he'll want to do the thing that um, facilitates the renormalization of Russia's relationship with the United States. If it's such a close call, it doesn't really matter which way to go. But the stability here is around Russia's aspiration for political control over Ukraine and Russia's aspiration for a relationship with the United States um, beyond Ukraine. So that's how we think about this today. Lots and lots of love, and thank you for talking to me like this.